Every 18th day of November is being set aside for Africa Statistics Day. This is an annual event to raise public awareness on the importance of statistics in all aspects of social and economic life. This year's theme is modernizing national statistical systems to support socio-cultural development in Africa. Well, Nigeria joined its other African counterparts to mark this event yesterday, and it brings to light the importance of data in economic development. To have this conversation with me is a professor of statistics at the University of Port Harcourt and a fellow of the Nigerian Statistical Association, Professor Ethelbert Nduka. Thank you very much, Professor Nduka, for joining us on the program. Good morning.
Good morning and
Now,
welcome.
thank you. Let's understand first the significance of African Statistics Day celebration.
The African Statistics Day celebration is an opportunity for us to appraise our activities and the appreciation of statistical information in the continent of Africa. How important statistics is in the development and economic planning and policy formulation and right decision making in the continent of Africa.
Okay, now some commentators have said that we are planning without facts. Would you agree with this view?
Well, we are planning with facts, but very deficient facts, because we are not planning in empty air. But how reliable is our data system? Who are the ones collecting this data? Who are the ones analyzing them? Who are the ones pushing them to government or policymakers? Are they making use of the statistical information made available to them at all levels of government? So these are the issues. Not that the data are not there, but
Now
one,
that
the
brings
method of
me.
collection.
You talked about how reliable
Yes.
these data. That brings me to my next question: the quality of our data, the integrity of our data. Let's take, for instance, I mean, here in Nigeria, we've been having our inflation data out for some time. We've been seeing the inflation data tapering down. We're seeing inflation is coming down, even though globally inflation is rising. But then when we get into the market, it doesn't even reflect, what the data is saying and the reality out there. And then that leaves to question the integrity of our data. What's your thought?
Well, you may have a point there, but remember too that what we are dealing with is aggregate data. For instance, food inflation may be high, but other components of the inflationary trends may not be as high as that of food inflation. So it will appear as if you said that the inflation rate is manageable, so to speak, but the food inflation is skyrocketed. So that doesn't really diminish the quality of the data, but the components of that data system.
Now, what's your assessment of the performance of the National Bureau of Statistics in the provision of timely and accurate data?
Well, I think the National Bureau of Statistics is doing its best in gathering data for national planning. But how easily accessible are these data systems? How disposed are people to give the right information for better planning? So these are issues. How readily available are these data for collection and for analysis and then for quality decision making? So that is why statisticians must be involved at all levels. It's not just going to analyze data that have been wrongly collected or that are deficient or even dysfunctional, because it is what is made available to you most often that you deal with. After screening, of course, to the best of your ability, you have to screen the data, clean it up before you now get it analyzed and push it to the society. If you know the background of what the statisticians do in handling data, you will appreciate that they are doing their best. But we must improve the quality of the data at all levels, not just because if any chain is weak, it affects the entire outcome.
Okay. So
If your data is deficient, no matter how sophisticated the analysis is, you are going to get biased results.
yeah. So tell me now, what are the challenges of data gathering in Nigeria? What are the major data gaps?
Well, the poor record keeping is a bane of our society. Poor record keeping. We hardly keep data, and then we mask information. There are certain information that the policymakers feel that we embarrass them. And then, but the facts are there. You want to bring up these facts, they will dispute those facts and run with the ones that seem to suit their fancies. So this is a challenge. If, for instance, you give the true picture of a crime rate, I'm just giving you an example. Some governments may frown at it, or you give information on those facts were there.
Okay, Professor, if you can hear me here, the MBS had complained of poor funding over the years. Is this a reflection of how much importance is attached to data gathering in Nigeria?
Yes, data gathering is the bedrock for quality analysis and quality formulation and decision making. So once the data is deficient, there is little even the statistician or the MBS can do. And that is why we've been preaching that all activities that are data-driven should attract the attention and the engagement of statisticians so that you have the people who are the practitioners manning this data system instead of making it an all-commerce thing. And that is why government is urged to enact necessary laws to professionalize statistics so that those who are saddled with it can do their work qualitatively and in a professional manner.
Yeah, Professor, apparently you didn't get my question there. I'm talking about the place of funding in data gathering because oftentimes the National Bureau of Statistics have complained of poor funding over the years.
Yeah, it's a general problem, funding level, because, for instance, surveys are things that you must do continually. So when you complain of funds, people may resort to using stale data that may not even bring out the facts and the issues that are currently in vogue. So in that case, funding hampers the quality of data gathering. There's no doubt about that at all.
Now, how can we leverage technology to improve our data gathering and data quality? Well, I think we've lost Professor there. Anyway, while we try to get connected now to Professor, let's see what's happening at the market. We have Anete Edit there. Anete, what's up with your market?
Well, good morning, Jimmy. I think I'll start first with the fixed income market, where it was much of a bullish sentiment. That market had been relatively quiet and not much of activity. But lo and behold, after the Debt Management Office offered 150 billion worth of bonds, then, of course, that sent investors scrambling for, much of the debt instruments. And then, of course, we had much demand across both the fixed income market, across the bonds market and the treasury bills market.
Well, I guess you should hold your thoughts there. Let me get back to Professor to round up his thoughts there. Professor, thank you for staying back there. Sometimes, when we're talking about technology, actually leveraging technology to improve our data, and look at it, disappointing us right away. Anyway, can you wrap up? What do you expect to see going forward, both from the government and even the private sector?
Well, with the increasing awareness and what we now call data revolution, I think the government may not have any choice than to encourage the use of technology and also training and retraining our staff in the system to also be abreast with modern trends in data gathering for a healthy economic and policy formulation.
Thank you very much, Professor Nduka. We do appreciate your time on the program this morning with us. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.